right, I will not be visiting apartment 7A, 7B, 8C, or any of the above. Going to stay away from that apartment building, period. And we'll find out why here in a second. But let's find out a little bit more about what this film is about with the IMDb plot. A struggling young dancer finds herself drawn in by dark forces when a peculiar, well-connected older couple promise her a short-term shot at fame. Okay. Um. Yeah. Okay. So this one just recently came out. I didn't see the screener for this one, but where did this end up on? I don't know if it was Paramount. There we go. So yeah, a recent one by Paramount, and so I'll try to keep this spoiler free. I'm not really sure that there are too many twists and turns. I guess there's a little bit here, but I don't think it's anything unsuspecting of you guys. Highly marketed as the prequel to Rosemary's Baby, and I'm gonna be, again. I always kind of repeat these things because I don't assume that everybody watches every single review. So I would say with Rosemary's Baby, I'll see that was a little whiles back, probably a touch before my time, or at least my time of watching horror movies. So I know that I've seen at least the movie one time, but that's probably it. It is obviously a little bit of a long movie, so I know that every once in a while it's on TV, and maybe I'll watch certain segments of it. So I'm not gonna say I have a great memory of it, or it's one of my favorites or whatever and so forth. I know a lot of you guys like it, but I don't know. To me, it just always seems like a long movie. I don't know the timer. Maybe I should have checked the time limit. I don't know, but so if you're looking for this review to kind of comment on how much this really is a prequel and the connections and all that. Probably not the place for it. I really not going to be one to kind of get caught up in all that. Really, to me, this movie could have been just a stand on its own, or maybe for others, maybe caught better connections and so forth. But either way, I guess it could have gone either way. But yeah, I'm really not going to do too many comparisons and too many connections to Rosemary's Baby. I'm just going to kind of tackle this one on its own. Obviously that is why, lots of people wanted to watch it and so forth. Maybe if it was just Apartment 7A and didn't have any connection, maybe they didn't feel as many people would have watched this. So, that's always kind of my fear with, sometimes we do these remakes or prequels, whatever. How much are they really connected, or how much are they just kind of throwing that name in there to get people to watch? So, again, those are kind of things I guess some of you kind of have to decide when you watch this, or some of you that have maybe already seen this, have thoughts on. But that's pretty much going to be it for me on that. Probably a bigger reason for me to watch this movie is Julia Gardner's in it, and I really like her as an actress. Think she does a really spectacular job. So I think, besides the Rosemary's Baby part, that wasn't, to me, such a big thing. To me, it was more that she was in this movie. So I kind of wanted to see what she did, kind of since she's kind of diving into the horror realm here. I know that she had done some other movie not too long ago that I completely missed, that I think it was more of a thriller kind of movie, but might have had a touch of horror, maybe mystery to it, and I completely missed it. I need to catch that one, but definitely a fan of her work. Definitely on Ozark was very good, and think she does a really good job as an actress. So that was probably a bigger reason for me wanting to see what she does here, and she is the ballet player here, or dancer, and unfortunately early on you would get a kind of introduction to her. She's pretty good at it until she hurts her ankle, and hurts her ankle in a way that she has a very hard time kind of getting back to her form that she was before. And, some of it's because of physical, and then some of it is mental. Maybe she just doesn't have the confidence that she had before because of the injury. So she keeps trying and trying to get auditions, get parts, but isn't doing too well in it. Finally goes to this big audition where they make her do this routine over and over and over, and she's really pushing the limits with her foot, and you can tell she's in pain, but whatever. She eventually finds herself where the director, or the person who's putting on the show, is kind of hitting on her, and you kind of get that feeling that, if she just went along with him and kind of either slept with him or gave him whatever he wanted, that, maybe she would get the part or whatever, but obviously she doesn't want to do that. She then soon enough, kind of through accident or whatever, finds herself with an older couple. And, it's almost, that right place, right time kind of thing, at least at the moment, where they offer her a place to stay, and it just happens to be in the same building where this director works. So, they kind of, get her to decide to stay there. Then she get her to go to kind of this party where she kind of gets to spend time with the director, and, kind of befriend him, and then before you know it, her career's going well and everything seems to be going well. But like I said, all the good things, the fortunates of meeting the old couple were good at first, but then maybe not so good as the film rolls on. I'm trying to be, think about being spoiler free, and then, guessing that you guys kind of know from Rosemary's Baby kind of where this kind of goes. She's going to end up being pregnant. She's not really sure, how that happened. You guys see kind of a little bit unfold in the guesses of how that happened. And then we roll on from there. And I'm not going to say too much more. As far as, being, I guess, let me see. Here it lists as psychological horror, psychological thriller. And I guess you kind of go with that. It's, yeah, the horror of the situation, but, I don't think there's a tremendous amount of horror here. Obviously, what happens to her is of horror and very traumatizing in a way. Obviously, when you see what happens at the end, and what is truly going on here, obviously a horror type situation. But this is not big on the blood and guts, not big on jump scares, not big on other things of horror. This is mostly of a very just a situation that just gonna kind of go bad as it goes on. It says it was an hour and 47 minutes. To me, it felt maybe it was a little longer. Maybe it's just because I had my Rosemary Baby flashbacks and was thinking that this is going to go on forever. Definitely, seemed a little bit slow at the beginning as we kind of get an introduction to her, and then her injuries herself, and then the struggles, and even when she kind of gets into the apartment before she kind of becomes pregnant. I don't know. It just seems to be going. I'm not going to say it's a slow burn, but it seems to be taking a nice easy pace here as it kind of goes along. But really nothing you kind of see it coming on her. She's obviously as she is more and more into the pregnancy, as things may or may not go well, in her acting, and maybe some strange things start happening. And I guess those strange things, might tend towards the horror a little bit now that I think about it. But it never, to me, greatly gets into it. It's just, again, trying to struggle with that spoiler free. I think overall many of you guys, know the gist of this and know where this goes and know about the pregnancy and all that. So, I don't even know if there's a point to being spoiler free here, but Obviously the pregnancy has a big thing, and I guess that kind of pushes a little bit of the horror here. But again, to me, it's just never a lot of it, and never enough of what you want, or at least what I want. I think in the final moments, in the final scene, um, I liked what they did, but there's a certain point where you see a certain thing and you kind of like, okay, that's what's going to happen, and then like a minute or two later, it happens, so you're not really that surprised. Um, Obviously, a bad thing is happening here in this apartment. Obviously, the old couple's behind it, and obviously, she's going to eventually figure out, and I guess my spoiler freeness is just going away as this goes on. So I apologize for anybody who really wanted this spoiler free. But obviously, she's finding out more about what's happening as this goes on, and then obviously she's going to have some decisions to make as we enter the final moments of the movie. But yeah, I think as the final scene kind of opens up and you're watching what happens, there's a certain thing that you're going to see, or at least a certain thing that I saw, and I go, oh, okay, well that's what's going to happen, and like I said, a minute or two later it happens. So, yeah, it's not really a twist. I don't know that it's a twist or a turn or hugely surprising. It may add a shock to some, but I'm not gonna say it overly shocked me. Was probably a good way to end the story, and a good decision overall. Um, but then definitely, as you can see, as it kind of ends, you can kind of see how it might open the door for the original Rosemary's Baby. So I guess if I said I really wasn't going to kind of draw that kind of thing, but it's there, it's open, and so forth. So I don't know. I think overall I'm going to give it 2 pools of blood out of 5. Like I said, I think, again, maybe a little bit of favoritism. Like I said, I really like her acting. Thought she did a really good job here. So, regardless of what you think about the movie, I still think she puts on a solid performance. The old couple is very interesting. They have, they're very cheery, but then I think in those moments where they have to be a little bit more kind of dark and mean, they do a pretty good job. So I think the acting overall is good in it, but I just don't know that there's a huge whole lot going on here, and I think if you're already familiar kind of with the story of Rosemary's Baby and kind of what's going on, I don't know that they present anything hugely new or anything like that. So, like I said, in another way, it could have just been another movie, called Apartment or 7A or Apartment whatever, or just Woman in Building with Child Mysteriously. I don't know, but and gone along its way and just been a film. So yeah, maybe calling it a prequel maybe was what got Julia to do the movie. Maybe if it was just whatever other movie, maybe she wouldn't have done it. So you never know. But yeah, so I'm giving it 2 pools of blood out of 5. It's just a movie to me. It was just a movie. So with that, horoscoryreviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all my reviews written in video. Certainly, mostly video reviews of late, so you can like and subscribe and do everything else that everybody wants you to do here on YouTube. But if not, no worries. It is okay. I thank you for your time regardless. Twitter, Facebook information down below as well. Feel free to join me there and talk about horror, something you want me to review. And in the comments section, if you want to better clarify for me the connection between this movie and Rosemary's Baby, feel free to fill me in and do me that favor. I don't know. Or anything else you want to throw in about this film once you guys see it. Please feel free to do so. And with that, I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.